So here now is the man who handed the baton off to Sarah Huckabee Sanders, former White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer. Sean, good to have you with us this evening. What are your thoughts on this big announcement today?
Well, I watched Sarah's face, and I've experienced that myself. It's bittersweet. It's an honor of a lifetime to serve in that position, and yet it's taxing. You're spending hours away from your family every day, in the morning, in the evening, and to be able to get back to them is something that you long for. So you're excited to go back to your family, to see your friends, to re-engage in some of the things that you enjoy doing, but you've had the honor of a lifetime, and you're working with amazing people, and it's tough to say goodbye.
Yeah, and I would imagine there's a flip side to that coin, too. There's probably a relief when you get back to, your regular life, but I would imagine that you also kind of miss the buzz of being in the White House and being that close to the leader of the free world.
I got to be honest with you, Martha, I haven't missed it one day. And I say that because if you really have, and it's because I really appreciated the time I have. I soaked it all in. I've continued to stay active in politics. I've got a political firm, so I'm engaged in the political sphere. But I don't, because I look at it and I know that I enjoyed and cherished every single day I was there. And when I left, it was the right time. And I think Sarah's in the same position. She served in this position for over 2.5 years. She was my principal deputy before that. She was on the campaign before that. And I think for a lot of folks who just look at the tenure in the White House, they forget the transition. They forget the grueling campaign that we went through.
Right.
I spent 6 years at the RNC.
Absolutely.
And so when you do that, you remember that it's not just been those months and years in public service, but the months and years before that as well.
So who do you think steps into her spot now?
I knew you were going there. Look, I think there's a lot of talented people the president can choose from. One thing that's really unique about this administration, it's always important to have chemistry with the principal. But I think in this particular case, the president is going to want somebody that understands not just his voice, but how he wants to interact with the press, how he wants to communicate. As you can tell between my tenure and Sarah's, that's not always the most traditional way. And he's going to want to make sure that the chemistry is there between whoever he chooses. So it's not just the skill set and the experience in dealing with the press, which is important, but the ability to communicate his policies and his priorities in a way that he feels is acceptable.
Right, so you're not going to tell me the names of the people that you think might take over. And, there are some obvious people that come to mind who are in that department right now, perhaps, and maybe some who have worked in some of the other departments in press spokesperson positions who may come to mind that people may think are on the list. The president said that, perhaps Sarah Huckabee Sanders would consider running for governor in Arkansas, a position that her father once held. You know Sarah very well. Do you think that's something that she aspires to?
I know that she's always enjoyed public service and she loves her home state of Arkansas. So how those two things intersect, I don't know. It's been a few hours. Haven't gotten hit up for a donation yet, so I don't know where her thinking is. But whether or not she takes a little time in the private sector, I would imagine that public service continues to be something that she will be part of. She has enjoyed being part of watching her father go up as lieutenant governor and then governor. She served in the White House. I think public service and wanting to give back, wanting to make people's lives better is something that has always been part of her DNA, and I expect it in her future as well.
Well, it's going to be interesting to watch the reshuffling of the deck in the press secretary position, and also whether or not she decides to follow in her father's footsteps and get into Arkansas politics as well. Sean, good to see you tonight. Thank you for being here.
Great to see you. Fantastic town hall once again.
You bet. Thank you very much.